Hey y'all, so I'm gonna be going over the top six Batman actors from worst to best. Now, before anybody gets on my tail, I'm not including the original OG Batman actors for the sitcoms. These guys made a good stamp on the Batman name, and they were fantastic. But they won't be in this list. This list is just for the modern day Batman cinematic actors. So, don't attack me for not having Adam West on my list because they definitely have are legends within their own right, but they're not part of this cinematic list. Also, everyone within this list did good within their own right. Like I said, it's just who I believe did worse to best. So let's get into it. First up, George Clooney. I'm pretty sure everybody pretty much assumed that he was going to be on the worst. Uh, Now, don't get me wrong, he looked alright in the Batman suit. I mean, it's not very hard to not look cool in a Batman suit. He had the billionaire playboy look to him, but he just didn't really give me that feel that should have been a cinematic version of Batman. He reminded me a lot of Adam West version of Batman. Not saying that it was bad, but as far as a cinematic universe goes, it didn't really fit for me. It was too comedic, too jokey for me to really be to be taken seriously. It was almost like a walking meme. That's pretty much what that Batman movie was. Now, this list isn't about the movies themselves, just about the actors portraying Batman, but the movie affected his Batman performance, which was basically a walking meme. So, yeah, it just his Batman performance didn't really do it for me. Next up, Christian Bale. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I know everybody loves his Batman, but I just couldn't get past his Batman voice. It was so cringy to me. Every time he spoke, it was so forced. Like, it just, I could not get past it. I couldn't get past it. I couldn't get past it. And his Bruce Wayne really wasn't that great either. I didn't like his portrayal of Bruce Wayne. It just didn't do it for me. The movies themselves are pretty good, but his portrayal of Batman, it just I couldn't get with it. He was okay as the Batman, but his voice was such a downer for me that I really, it was hard to bear during the movies, and it was very distractive. Also, I wasn't really a fan of his mask design. I didn't like the way that the mouth area was shaped, how it covers up most of his face, most of his mouth. I get that it's supposed to be more, you know, mysterious, but it just, yeah, I wasn't really a fan of that design. And I do feel like the Nolan trilogy is slightly overrated. Yeah, I said it, overrated. Next up, Robert Pattinson. Now, I think he did a great job as Batman. It's like a new take on him, more inexperienced Batman that I really liked. He's relatable. He's like how a lot of people would be if they became Batman. You know, he made mistakes. He got injured a lot. And even his Batmobile is relatable. It's a 69 Charger that was modified. So, it is my favorite Batmobile, by the way. Yeah, I think that he did great as Batman. He's a more emo take on it. I know all the Batmans are emo because of what happened, but he's a more emo take on it. You can tell that he's a loner. Even as Bruce Wayne, he's just by himself. He doesn't really go out to the glamorous fairs and things like that. So it's another take on him. I think he did well. He does have room to grow more as Batman, but as his first take, I think he did excellent. He makes me think of this is how Michael Keaton was when he first started being Batman. And speaking of Michael Keaton, number 3 on the list, Michael Keaton. I love this Batman. I mean, come on, it was dark. And I think that his environment gave a lot to his character. Very dark, very gloomy, kind of bland. Not really bland, but, kind of dark. That's the way to really put it. And serious. At least in the first movie. In the second movie, things kind of lightened up a bit in the world, and his Batman character was more fleshed out as Batman. Also, his Bruce Wayne was more fleshed out as well. But I loved his Batman. His uniform was awesome. He just did well. He brought him to the cinematic universe, and it was great. It was very, very good. It just seemed like that's in the first movie. It's like Bruce Wayne was his alter ego to Batman. Batman was what he was in the first movie, and it was just really, really awesome. I loved his Batman portrayal. And he's supposed to be playing Batman again in the new Flash movie, which may or may not get released. I would love to see him in a Batman Beyond movie. That would be dope. Playing old man Bruce. He definitely fit that. Number 2 on the list, Batfleck. Yeah, I like this portrayal of Batman a lot. He reminds me a lot of Justice League, the animated series Batman. He reminds me a lot of that Batman. He's charming. He's impressionable. Not too many jokes, but he's serious at the same time. So he nailed the personality down really good. He did well as Batman. I mean, I don't really have any complaints. His suit is alright too. The ears are short, so it's a more bulky take on Batman. He reminded me of one of the designs of Batman that was more of a futuristic Batman. He reminds me of that one. That's a Batman that's kind of older in age as far as the design goes. But yeah, I really like this Batman. And now for my number 1 favorite live action Batman, Val Kilmer. Yes, Val Kilmer. He killed that role as both Batman and Bruce Wayne. And not to mention, he has the best Batman voice out of everyone. I mean, the way that he can switch from his tone from Bruce Wayne to Batman and make it sound so natural was so good. His attitude as Batman was great. He wasn't too serious and wasn't too jokey like Batfleck. I loved his costume design. And his Bruce Wayne was extremely charming to the women and stuff like that. Like he played the bachelor role, but didn't overplay it. And his Batman was just great. I mean, he just did so well. It's a shame that he never came back for another Batman movie, because I would have loved to see him in another one. The movie itself, Batman Forever, was good. It wasn't as jokey as Batman and Robin, but it did have its joke elements because, the Riddler, Jim Carrey. I wasn't too fond of Two-Face's portrayal in the movie. It was okay, but he wasn't very serious as he normally is. But it was okay. He did. Tommy Lee Jones did pretty good as Two-Face. But yeah, man, he's my favorite. He's my favorite Batman, Val Kilmer. Number 1 for me. And like I said before, every one of these actors did good in their performances. This is strictly opinion based. I feel like my list is pretty accurate. Let me know what your guys' list is in the comment sections, and I'll see you on the next video. Oh, and me and Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, have the same taste because he also thinks Val Kilmer is the best. Even though he didn't get to live long enough to see all the rest of them afterwards, I think he would still think Val was the best. Ha.